What's going on, everybody? I'm Shane from Heads and Tails. This is Ken from LMK Reptiles, and this is Marcus from morphologix. Special guest today. What do you got going on your end of the deal, Ken? Let's hear it.
This is a black pewter het pie that I actually bought from the gentleman sitting below us. I don't know, I want to get a good weight on her tonight. Like, I haven't weighed her in probably about a month. But yeah, I want to get a proper weight on her tonight and see where she's at. But she's getting close. She's one of my good eaters. And look, this is what I like to show off. Het pied, no markers, no tracks, no nothing. So it's possible. Well, she does got a black spot there.
She got some, I don't know, she look good.
I guess she got tracks right there where it needs it. But look at her whole belly. It's like white the whole way up.
Yeah,
right there's the only thing that really counts.
All right. So, Marcus, glad you could make it. Where are you from? How long have you been doing this?
So I'm from the Chicago suburbs, and I started breeding in 2013. So coming up on 10 years here pretty soon, which is actually flown by. But yeah, it's wild to think about. It's been that long already.
Yeah, all right. So whenever you started, what were the biggest breeds out at that moment? Or not breeds, but genes, codoms.
Yeah, so
1250.
So at the time, I was only looking at the really sort of low end stuff, just because honestly, I didn't even have the money to buy anything higher end at all. And so I was still looking at like bumblebees and lemon blasts and stuff like that. But I know clown was already starting to become a bigger project. And pied was definitely popular. That was around when Justin Kabilka had hatched the fire pieds, I believe, around that time. So sort of that's kind of when the recessive thing sort of just started. Like, it was right at the transition between everyone doing all like codom stuff and then starting to mix recessives in.
Yeah, that's man, you hit it at like the perfect time then, actually.
Well, maybe like time-wise was good, but I didn't invest in the right stuff.
Right.
I was getting like the most, like my first pairing I ever did was just a champagne to a normal. So I wasn't like doing anything cutting edge or anything,
But you was doing
it. Still being able to get out there and start putting something out since 2013, that now makes you, like one of the big dogs out there nowadays in comparison to where you had started with just a few. I mean, look at how time flies, and you've grown so far.
It's actually nuts how fast it goes. What was that?
I've seen people on YouTube putting videos. It's been doing it for 2 or 3 years, making champagnes, making pastel enchies. When I got into it, I didn't see a reason to do that. Like, I'm working with at least a het, or I'm not doing it. Like, that's the way I felt about it, anyways. How you doing, Bill?
So, how many clutches do you produce per year, would you say, or the last year and this year?
Yeah, so it's been pretty much a steady increase. From my very first season was only 1 clutch, and then last year I did 21, I believe, and then this year I did 27.
Nice.
Wow.
Honestly, I think I want to. I think about this a lot. Like, I don't really know sort of what the limit is, but I feel like I would never do more than probably 40 max, just because like I really like having sort of like a more concise group and just like really dialed in on the stuff that I really care about. I don't really want to just produce a ton of numbers like just for the heck of it,
Absolutely. And that is something that I had actually wondered about. As far as once you actually have the ability to start making so many snakes per year, do you want to keep growing, or do you just want to kind of like put your stuff back together? Like, as far as like Well, sorry, I was doing all the comments and
No worries.
stuff. No, but as far as your projects, do you want to make your projects more specific and just try to focus on those few groups that you're like, okay, this is a hot seller for me. This is, like really, what are you into? Trying to make something more rare or something that's a hot seller? And are they the same thing?
Or are you doing what you like?
So, those are all great questions. And to be honest with you, like a combination between all of those is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Where I definitely want to like leave my own mark on the hobby. And like
Mhm.
I want to make some stuff that is totally different, unique, like out there that no one else has made. But
Yeah, absolutely.
simultaneously, like the stuff that is popular for a reason because it usually looks really good. And so like if I see like for example like laces has been blowing up and like I've had a few lace in my collection for like a few
Yes,
years
it has.
and like so I'm working that project and it's like it's popular but that's not going to stop me from making laces just because it's like a lot of people are working on it because frankly they make really good looking snakes and so it's kind of a balance. So I definitely want to do both, like make some of the stuff that's popular, but also just like I want to do some like crazy, weird stuff that people would be like, I never ever thought like those genes would go together,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's how I
Absolutely.
feel about it. The exact same way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
So, and that's the fun part too, right? Is just like getting really creative because like if you're chasing other people's projects, you can still make like really good looking animals, no doubt. And also like I'm
without a
sure
doubt.
yeah,
Right?
and like make money too. But
Yeah,
like it's really fun to just like try stuff and just see like and maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. But like just like sort of trying stuff, branching out is to me the
absolutely.
funnest part.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
One of the things I was trying to get going on mine was that I want to get to a point to where it's a snake that I like really wanted that snake. Like, for example, I'm kind of working towards like a Pompeii on
Okay,
one of
yeah,
my
yeah.
projects. Um, like once I get that, then I'm like, okay, what do I want to mix in with this? What do I want to do different and stuff?
Yep.
Because in my mind, as far as that snake goes, I know that they dole out and stuff as they get older, but honestly, like it's the fact of me being able to create that, and it's like,
And
hey,
they
man,
do look crazy. I mean, the
yeah,
Pompeii.
I think they look amazing. People have been both ways on them, and I'm like, I don't know, I think it's pretty awesome. So doing that, but then now, what happens whenever I mix, like all of that into a puzzle project as well?
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's
You
like
know,
totally untapped.
yeah. So I do have like I only have 3 clutches. Well, I don't have any clutches yet. I have 3 breeding females this year.
Hmm.
I have a piebald het exanthic male with just a piebald female, so I'm just
Okay.
going pretty basic there.
At
Um,
least you can gene test. I'm
right.
sure probably by the time like I would imagine they'd have like the axanthic lines tested out pretty soon.
Well, and
And
I do have a visual exanthic female and a het,
Oh,
but
okay.
they're just not big enough yet.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just sitting here and I popped her.
Oh,
I'm learning
really?
how to pop like bigger snakes. I got a rat guy that's close by and he showed me how last week. And I was sitting here and her tail was in the right place and I just did it. So
Nice, man. There's definitely a learning curve to pop in. Like I've
just be
questioned
gentle.
myself.
That's my biggest thing. Be gentle. Don't try to like break the snake. Just be gentle with it and, push it and wiggle it around a little bit and it'll pop out.
Yep. Yeah,
Just be gentle.
once you get it down, it's like nothing.
Yeah. Yep. I was just sitting there one handed. Pop.
So,
Sweet.
what
I got to tell him that.
Yeah. So, what are some genetics that you're really like? Well, you don't have to tell us your super secret projects. I get it.
Okay,
Everybody's got their
fair
own.
enough.
But just something that interests you, something that's like really cool, maybe underrated, or something that just maybe people don't know about yet.
So something underrated, I think, is black axanthic. So that's one that I
Mm,
actually really haven't shown at all that I'm working with. But
Nice.
honestly, like I really, really like black axanthic. I think it's so different from the other
We
axanthic
talked about
types.
it
Huh?
between
so
him and I.
somebody, I have heard that it is the same as VPI.
Oh, really?
That's well, that was I want to say that was either on a podcast I had seen
Huh.
with maybe even Justin Kabelka.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd seen something about they had
I'll have to
wondered
look into
if
that.
VPI and black axanthic were the same.
And
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if VPI might have imported a line of black axanthic too. I need to look that up. I've never heard that. But to me, so far, like all the black axanthics I've seen look really different from like regular axanthic because I mean they're much darker.
Yeah, see, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. And there's still like a lot of variability. Like some of them hatch out like silver, but a lot of them hatch out already like pretty dark. And then some of them seem to get a lot darker
I
as they
touched
get
the wrong
older.
spot.
Yeah.
Huh?
I
So
touched her head while she was on here trying getting this thing backwards. Freaked me out and freaked her out.
That's funny.
uh
Um,
what were you saying?
oh, I was just gonna say, but I do think black axanthic is underrated, and so I'm trying for a few different black axanthic projects. Hopefully, like maybe next year, I'll start actually hatching stuff out from that project. But so far, I've just been building some little building blocks here and there.
Nice.
I am definitely interested in that project.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's some cool stuff. And I'm interested to see, I mean, because theoretically, well, all right, so black axanthic is still recessive, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so worst case scenario, if I do end up going VPI to the black and it doesn't turn out, I just got a couple of double hats, you
Which
know?
honestly, like, and who knows? I've actually wondered that a lot. Like, what would happen if you doubled up like a VPI axanthic with a TSK axanthic?
Okay, see, I was wondering that too. Does it get like super black and white, or is it just like kind
Yeah,
of?
yeah. I was
And
wondering if they kind of like cancel each other out, if it just like looks like a normal axanthic, or if it's like an axanthic on steroids, you know?
it
And
would be
So a
crazy if it
double
was.
recessive TSK VPI.
huh?
So a double recessive
Yeah, and
VPI
that's the problem.
TSK.
Like, it would be a lot
Yeah,
of work and time, like, to make that, and you have no idea. It might turn out like not worth it at all for like years of work, or it could
Yeah.
be like really sick. You know, who
yeah,
knows?
absolutely, absolutely.
But I mean, that's like what we got to do, right? Like, you
Yeah.
got to
Right.
ultimately take a chance because, like, we think we know how something's going to turn out, and
But
it
is it
may
really?
not actually do that.
I mean, in all reality, I feel like the worst case scenario on most of them, not every case is the same, but most case scenario, you're only wasting about a year and a half with that snake. You know, like as far as if you
Yeah.
do, you know, like a questionable clutch. Like, so Ken and I are actually gonna like do a little clutch swap thing, and
Okay.
I'm getting his lace clown female. We're just doing it like, you know, we'll give
He
them back
needs
eventually.
female clowns. He don't got
Yeah,
enough females. He needs a
Dude,
female
me neither.
clown.
Like, you can always use more female clowns.
Yeah, so I'm
right.
giving him mine, and I'm getting a male that works well with like 2 or 3 of my females.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he's getting my yellow belly hypo het ultramel male.
Nice. Yeah,
We're just
ultra
swapping
glow is cool.
for like a clutch or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, swap them
But
for a
we
couple
plan on
clutches and send
combining
them
each
back.
other's, like he's working for me and I'm working for him. We're combining our collections more or less.
Appreciate all you guys stopping by out in the chat.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Definitely like share stuff together.
Yeah, and I mean the fact. Well, that's the good thing is that so Ken and I have pretty much started right about the same time, and like you know we're like really good friends, you know. So as far as sharing stuff, we're like, it's cool. Our interests align. So whenever we think about it, instead of having like, because I have 17 snakes and he has 17, instead of thinking about it like that, we're like, nah, man, we got 34 snakes, you know?
Oh,
so
totally.
that's where we came up with that swap. Like, we laid out all 34 snakes and was like looking, and he needs another female clown to maximize his males. And I need a male to maximize that hypo and ultra male.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. So on his, it's kind of his is going to that lace clown that he has is coming to my orange dream, yellow belly, red stripe het clown.
Oh, dang, that would be sick.
Right? We were like, all right, so that's good. The only problem is that we're worried that we're not going to be able to find, like, because I don't know, it's questionable with his lace clown if it is.
The lace clown I got is from Best Dressed Balls. It was auctioned off, and Forward Motion Reptiles bought it, and I guess it was born like really small, and he didn't want to wait the time for it, so he got it for $500, and it was sold to him as possible lace, but it has jagged marks going all the way down the side of it. I talked to Best Dressed. He said my line of lace kind of reduces in clowns because it's just like a line thing. I'm pretty sure after seeing what he produced, mine's 100%. Like what he's putting out there as a lace clown is exact the same as mine. And he even called it a brother to my girl. Now I'm like, well, you're basically admitting it then, right? He said, yeah. So, all right. So if I call this a lace clown, you're not going to be like, well, I didn't tell you it was. You're going to agree that it is. And he goes, well, yeah, I'm putting this as a lace clown. It looks just like it.
All right.
So that's why I call it a lace clown.
Out for you.
He pressured him. He pressured him into it. I don't know.
I kind of pressured him into it a little bit. Yeah, because I wanted straight answers. But then again, he told me.
Go get her. Have a market.
He told me and Forward Motion that it came from his pastel and his lace clown. And no way, that thing has blade in it. It's a blade lace clown. And he said, well, I did have a blade clutch. Maybe I got them mixed up. And there's no maybes about it. You did. It's the blade.
Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look at her. Like, I'm curious now. I think I've seen a picture, but
that snake, the blade lace clown that he has, that he's claiming is blade lace clown. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just not saying it is. Okay.
There's questions on it. Yeah.
But that actually won King of the Mountain on Regis Superior.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. But either way, it's going to be cool because even if I don't make the lace out of that, having the red stripe, yellow belly, orange dream going to a visual clown.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And then I'm going to so one of my 3 clutches this year is actually my spot nose clown male going to my pastel Enchi leopard butter het clown female.
Okay. Yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. So what I'm really hoping for is a visual, all I really want is a visual spot nose clown female, so that I can put that one back to Odie or whatever, my orange dream, yellow belly, red stripe. But now that I'm getting I may not need to do that, so we'll see how everything goes. But either way, I'm still doing my parent. Hold on, I'll put them on full screen. Hold on. There you go.
Now, I don't think it's like a great example of lace, but it's got that. I can't
say they're not there.
Let's see the back colors too.
Yeah, like they're on the other side. It's just not like 100% defined.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Oh, Hey, be honest. Be honest. If you be like, nah, that shit ain't got it.
I honestly have not hatched lace clowns yet, so I don't know.
But look at that head stamp.
It does have some, I'm not gonna lie, it does look like almost like a pied pattern, you know, like some pied tracks.
It does look like it has like tracks on the belly for sure. Yeah, that's
super reduced patterns. I think it's blade for sure.
It could definitely be blade, yeah.
This belly,
I don't know. Now you got me wondering, because if I look at like the bellies of my snakes, man, almost all of them got some crazy ass shit on their bellies.
But it wraps, it like kind of folds up like lace does.
I honestly,
trying to pull up.
Man, that's tough. That's tough to tell.
Yeah, it's.
Oof. See, it just doesn't. It's not like pronounced enough, you know.
But I mean, lace clown, like there's been a lot of them on Morph Market where I'm like, is that lace? Is it not? And so I think
absolutely.
There's one up here on our neck that's hard to get. Yeah, look right there. It wraps up a little higher than the rest.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
But still.
I mean, yeah, by the
I'm going to fucking hope and pray to God she is. And we're going to go with it.
I mean, you'll be
this
fine
one
either
right
way.
Here, that teardrop there.
Yeah.
Kind of, there's one that looks like a lace mark. But I don't know. We'll see.
You'll find out what next year.
Yeah, I didn't pay a lace clown price for her, so it's not a loss if she is.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll do fine either way with that male. So
right, exactly. We get the male that's got a bunch of genes in them going to her. You know, we'll come out of it either way with that one.
See, another reason why I decided to send this to him and let him do it is that red stripe proving that out's big, and we want red stripe in our clowns. And my male clown's a leopard, and it's a reduced pattern leopard.
Okay.
This is a reduced pattern. You know, I didn't want to do reduced on reduced.
You could do like, so I have a couple super blade clowns actually, and I actually really like it, but it is like they have just like a thin, so they have no pattern other than like the thin black stripe on the back.
All right, how good are you at identifying OD in clowns?
Pretty decent. I mean, I've hatched.
Let me go get my leopard because there's something definitely kicking in him too.
But it depends on what they're with, because OD is a gene not just in clowns, but in general. Like, there's a lot of genes that can really kind of mute OD, and then there's other genes that just like blow Orange Dream up, and you know, everything in between.
Absolutely. So Ken is like the master of getting snakes that could or couldn't have some crazy genes in them. Like, I swear, this man, like, I don't know. I have a couple snakes that I'm like, I don't know, but they're not old enough yet for me to prove them out. So I'm just like, whatever. However, Ken, he thrives in that area. Like, all of his snakes are possibles.
Yeah, I got a lot of possibles. See that, like, reduced head stamp like that?
No, we don't. Hold on.
What did you buy this snake as?
Leopard.
Yeah, Ken.
Just a leopard.
And it's just a leopard.
No.
I'm just teasing.
I'm telling you. And then it has this funky thing.
I do like that thing.
It had Grim in its clutch. I first thought it was Grim, but there's nothing to compare off of. And looking at OD clowns, OD leopards, they have these circles, tendencies to have these circles, and they have tendencies to have reduced, like, head stamps.
You're moving that thing all over the place.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to show it, and I suck at it.
Sometimes blade too, though. So something that a lot of people don't really talk about is how much blade influences the color. So like I've hatched quite a few blade clowns that are like orange, like pretty orange too. And
this guy here is almost like a green. It's got a green tint to it, like an olive green tint to it. Here I go with the olive green.
Okay, so Ken thinks all snakes are green.
It's so hard when you get into some of the like nitty-gritty like this, you know, like it can be. There's snakes I have that I've been staring at for like a couple of years, and I'm just
now
like,
I'm not going to mark anything OD in this until I prove it out 100%. But I'm going to be looking for it.
I'm going to be looking for something. It's not OD.
I just say that because
it could be blade. Like the color palette reminds me of like what I've seen in a lot of blade stuff, but you never know.
Well, it could be blade.
Or even like Grim is another gene where like those sort of granite genes in clowns sometimes come out like really high expression and sometimes come out like you can barely tell. And like, I mean, I haven't hatched any Grim stuff, so you never know if it could have something like that too.
Well, it was a Grim het clown to a leopard lesser clown.
Well, it's definitely not lesser, so.
No, and I know it's not lesser.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, if anything, it could be Grim leopard, but.
And I was thinking maybe OD was hiding in their lesser. That lesser leopard, OD could hide in the lesser leopard pretty easy. That's what I was thinking. They had it and they didn't know it.
Lesser, bro.
What's that?
Crazy. Hey, look at my oh man, that's awesome. Because we know Ken, stop it, bro.
Hey, I mean, I hope you prove us all wrong, and like I hope you like prove something crazy out. But you know, that's the thing. Like you have to be able to ultimately like see stuff that other people don't see in animals if you want to make something like legitimately and like. You know, you got to do your thing.
If there's someone that is going to find a random gene that hasn't been discovered, it is that dude right there.
Yep.
He spends a lot of time looking at his snakes, thinking of what else could be in them.
Well, it's not like I spend a lot of time looking at my snakes. I look at my snakes and look on Morph Market for something similar. Just
I do the same thing.
Dude, I spend 3 to 4 hours a day sometimes on Morph Market. Like, no lie, a day. And I'm not even looking to buy. I'm just looking to, like, you know, just look to see. So I learn the market.
So this has been going on for nearly a year now.
Since March of last year, or this year.
Dedicates so much time. It's crazy.
Oh, I've definitely been there. Like it's so addictive.
You get that, but all right. So I was too, but I was like a few months, and I was like, all right, man, I got a few snakes. I gotta chill for a minute. He's like, I'm like, Ken, you can't buy no more snakes. He's like, I know. It's like you can see, like he's really sad about it. I'm like, dang, man, you're really addicted to this. Go get some.
I'm sad now because I don't got no extra rack space. I can't buy anymore.
That's why
I gotta buy a rack.
Get some geckos, man. 10-gallon. You'll be good.
No, I want to get this off and running and make this successful before I go to another animal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree there. I can't help it. I love animals. Like I'm gonna buy every dang reptile I can, as long as I can build an enclosure for it, and I know that I can like successfully give it a good life. I'm like, all right, let's do it. If not, though, I'm like, nah. Like a chameleon, I'm not ready for yet.
They're definitely high maintenance for sure.
Yeah, they're high maintenance, and you know, I'm just like, I'll get there. I'm just not there yet.
Well, I mean, that's good. You recognize that,
right? Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what projects are you working on, or do you have any of your latest cool babies out of some of your clutches? Anything you want to show off?
I mean, sure. I wasn't really prepared, but there's all kinds of stuff right here. At night, they're usually trying to eat, so they usually come flying out. Like,
sweet.
Shane got bit 2 weeks ago. We don't want to see you get bit.
This is one of my favorite snakes that I've ever hatched, and this girl's been like on my Instagram, but here's the redhead, yellow belly, Batman that I made this year.
She's nice.
Oh man.
So, but just love.
All right, so how much
But
you think that one's worth? Because that one is an amazing snake.
so a male there. So someone else actually hatched the exact same combo, um, and it was at Tinley, and it sold like within the first couple hours of the show for 20K.
Wow.
Ooh. Now
Um,
you're not gonna sell her. You're gonna put her back into projects, right? Or are you gonna?
yeah. I'm keeping her, so
Yeah.
I'm
for
definitely
sure.
like gonna raise her up, and who knows when I'm gonna end up breeding Yara.
Oh man,
Yeah, she's
that
definitely
is
one of my
awesome.
favorites from this year. Um, but so the redhead project is one that I'm really big on, and I hatched all kinds of redhead
Who don't
stuff.
like a redhead? I mean, seriously. Who don't like a redhead? I mean, seriously.
I mean, for what it's worth, my girlfriend's a redhead too, so
Hey,
but I
that's
really love the gene.
Yep, you even love it more now.
Totally, but so that's actually one of the projects that I'm by far working the hardest. Uh,
Nice.
Redhead clown, but I'm also trying to get it into some other recessive stuff too. Um, so yeah, we'll see where that goes over the next couple of years.
man, I love it. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
What other projects are you working on? Like, well, what do you think you're getting out of like the best clutch this year? Or are you
Oh,
already done this year?
so my last babies for this year actually just hatched about a week ago.
Okay.
Um, and in that clutch, I actually hit a redhead clown that's het for Desert Ghost. That was
Oh,
actually like possibly the best snake that I hatched this year as well.
yeah,
I just hatched.
that's got to be up there.
So you doing the red stripe thing to make the redneck thing that Justin was trying to do?
I probably will at some point, but right now I have a few like red stripe het clown combo girls, but I have so many different clown projects because I'm also working like lace clown, confusion clown,
Ooh, nice.
Trojan clown. Trojan is a gene that this is my first season now this winter breeding Trojan. And that's one. I think the Trojan Clown project is going to be really interesting.
I've seen a couple nice Trojans.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
almost
It's an
like
interesting gene.
yeah, it's like kind of like Ultramelly vibe, but it's not as extreme as Ultramel. But it's like
Hmm.
a codon that sort of turns that sort of like orangey
And that's
burgundy
something
color.
that Ken's learning on the old Ultramel is that it's very powerful too, because it's like messing with him on he has an Ultramel bamboo feeding
Bamboo.
him.
Oh
That
yeah.
it's like
It don't
just
look
a
nothing
yellow
like an
snake.
Ultramel.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and bamboo is also a really strong gene too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an
But I'll tell you what,
interesting like interaction there.
Hmm.
that snake gets brighter every shed. Like her head is glowing now. Like it
Yeah.
just gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And
What are you
she's
gonna
one of
do
my
with her?
prettier snakes.
What are your plans for her, Ken?
The yellow belly hypo head Ultramel.
Oh yeah. Oh, sweet. So getting into the double recessive right away.
And then I have a
Yeah.
gravel double het Ultramel clown. I want to make Ultramel highways that are het for clown and ultra or hypo
Oh yeah, I
sooner
remember
or later.
saying that
That's
before.
the
Yeah.
triple recessive where that's going to build to triple recessive.
So
Yeah.
our actual hope on that, the original bamboo yellow belly, that was to not end up getting the bamboo in the visual Ultramel.
Yeah, we want to try to get the bamboo out.
Yeah. And we know that it's super like a dominant gene and stuff, but that's what we're going to be aiming for.
Yeah, I actually really like bamboo, like with the right stuff. Like I think you just gotta be like really selective with it. But
Now,
Right.
it's
yellow
actually a
belly
really cool
bamboo
gene.
Ultramels, I seen one and it was just like boom. The whites popped, the purples popped. It was out there. So if we hit one of them, like that's going to look nice.
I bet, yeah. Yeah, when you get like a high white bamboo, it's really cool. Like when the white comes up. almost
calico
like
in it.
sometimes they look almost like the like calico spider stuff or something when you just get those sides that are blown up
Yeah.
really high.
Now the spider gene, like, how do you feel about the spider gene? Shane don't want to talk about this, but something irks me today. I was watching the.
Okay, I'll just tell you how I feel straight up. So personally, I love spider. Like so when I first got into the hobby, literally everyone was breeding spider into everything, and it was something that everybody loved. And I totally understand, like, there are issues with certain spiders. And I'm not breeding like spider anymore, really. I've produced a couple clutches with it just for stuff that I just really personally was interested in. Like, I'm not breeding spiders to sell them or make money, of course, because like obviously it's not a gene you're gonna make a killing off of. But that said, like, probably at least like 19 out of 20 or so
all kinds, Snuckster,
that I've hatched have no wobble, and then every now and then, of course, you get one that does have real wobble. But personally, I love spiders. I think you're hard pressed to find a gene that has just one gene looks better than spiders.
You're right there. I do like the way they look, and some of them Orange Dream ones of Super or Dream One, they just are impressive snakes, like with very little genes. That I just don't want to get into snakes with neurological issues. I mean,
and right. And honestly, I agree with that entirely. And that's why, like, I'm not really trying to breed spiders anymore. I did produce a couple clutches this year that still had the spider gene in it, but it's for stuff that I'm like, spider gene is tied in with recessives that I'm trying to push forward.
Right.
And ultimately, kind of like you were saying with the bamboo, like Ultramel, it's like I'm trying to breed spider out of those projects and then carry on without it. But I do think it's unfortunate, like, because spider is so cool, but obviously it is like it is what it is,
So I have my opinion on spider is like either way, I'm kind of like, all right, so I don't want it personally. If I had one, I wouldn't be like upset about it, but like I'm just like I'm definitely not going out of my way to buy something that has spider in it, mainly for the reasons of it being such a dominant gene that it's going to pass on to too many of the kids. And I'm like, dang it, I'm trying to get just very specific genes in my projects as is. So yeah, obviously snakes with neurological issues, snakes with health issues, known health issues, stuff like that. There's quite a bit of them. I would say some have less problems than others. Like, to me, bulgy eyes or small eyes, that doesn't actually affect the snake. So genetics that have those problems, I'm like, hey, whatever. But also there's some really beautiful snakes that do end up having a bunch of neurological problems or other problems in general. And there's such nice snakes, but just when you're trying to get them, you end up, like really questioning, like, man, I made one really awesome one, but 5 ones that ride the small bus,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the goal. I mean, I think we all want to make healthy animals. Like, I don't think there's anyone who wants to make, animals that are going to have a bad life or anything. Like, obviously, we're all doing this because we care about animals. And so, like, it is. Like, I think we should stay away from anything that's a serious issue. Like, I think the spider thing, kind of like where a lot of the debate is that the vast majority of spiders are, like, normal and fine. Like, like over the years, I've hatched probably at least like 100 spiders, and out of those, almost all of them have come out fine. But I did have a couple that had like serious wobble, and like I do have one adult girl still that I bought actually in about 2014 or 2015 who has a pretty serious wobble, and like I definitely hate seeing that. Like, it's definitely not what we want our animals to experience, but it is like, Yeah.
It's not just them. It's not just them. There's other snakes out there. And even genes like a normal. I seen a girl with a normal the other day. Her snake completely upside down, just completely gone, got no brain, like.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of genes. Like, I mean, like sable or even spot nose is a wobble gene, just obviously not like in the single gene form normally. Or like even blackhead, chocolate, like all the genes on that allele.
Black pastel worries me because we do both have black pastel in our collection, and I know that they got like those mouth issues and stuff like that. So I'm like,
yeah, let me
duck billing. See, where I have a problem with it is if someone's trying to sell someone a spider that's getting new into it and they don't inform them that if you breed this snake, there's a possibility that the hatchlings will come up with neurological issues. That's where I have a problem with it.
Right.
I totally understand.
Oh, hold up. Let me go solo, bro. Let me go solo. You got some good stuff.
So, I mean, speaking of black pastel, I have hatched a number of 8-balls, and mine have like all come out normal. Like, now these are het pied from a panda pied to super centiparin, but like mine have had no issues whatsoever. And
now, do you change the incubation temperature on those?
Look at that snake, Ken.
No, not at all. So, I just incubated 88.5, and that's what I've been doing for years, and just no issues.
88.5. Okay, 88.5.
Yeah.
Well, see, I've heard as low as 86 for like 66 days on a black pastel to black pastel clutch.
Yeah, and I've never tried any of that. I've only ever done 2 clutches, which were both from the same pairing. It was panda pied to super cinnamon pastel female, and I hatched 11  8-ball het pieds just like this, and 11 for 11 all came out perfect. So I think it like depends a little bit on the actual like lineage of the parents and whatnot too, and that some are just more prone to making them. So there definitely is a risk, like if you have 2 random black pastels that you could hatch out kinked snakes and whatnot.
Well, I don't got nothing to worry about because I got your black pastel gene.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So the dad of your snake is the same dad of this baby.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, and I've loved working with like his genetics. I have all kinds of holdbacks from him and stuff. So, but
that's what I like to hear.
I mean, yeah, we definitely got to be really careful with like what we're breeding.
How many days again? 57?
Huh?
How many days do you go again?
Mine is usually about 57, 58.
See, Ken, go with the tried and true method, man. Don't be trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, so I do 88.5, and usually they pip on day 57 or 58.
See, I'm that guy that likes to push that envelope for the better good. You know what I mean? Like, if I push the envelope and it don't work, I'm not going to do it again, apparently. But if I push the envelope and find something out, then it's for the better good.
Hold on. Sorry, I was reading comments.
Yeah, I'll always be on it for sure. Like, if you can't tell, this is something that we have discussed many times.
Yeah,
maybe not online, but I frustrate Shane with it. But I just, I just want to inform myself about those types of clutches just to see what everyone does around the board.
Okay,
does that mean I'm going to do it? Maybe not. I mean, maybe I'll just put it into the incubator with the other eggs and let it go. Maybe I'll create a separate incubator for those clutches. Who knows? I don't know. I'll know when I get there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it's good to have just a baseline. So that's why, like, when I did this pairing for the first time, I just put them in with my regular clutches. And, like, if it would have turned out weird, honestly, I probably would have never made the pairing again. But if I was going to make it again, then I would have tried something different.
Yeah. So You said you did that and had no problem, so I'm not going to worry about it because that's the line I'm working with. So that's cool.
Yeah. But
okay.
You never know.
So, Marcus, other than ball pythons, are there other reptiles that you keep?
So technically not reptiles, but I do work with a whole bunch of poison dart frogs.
Oh, nice.
So,
Sweet. Amphibians. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Even though actually my real background is in fish, so not even reptiles, but my whole background as a kid and even actually my job up until recently, I was a marine biologist at the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. So actually fish are my like real thing that I've been working on like my whole life. And the reptiles are actually more of a newer thing, but
oh man. All right. So as a kid, I went to the Shed Aquarium as well for like school trips and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was just blown away by it. I try to tell Tamara all the time, my lady, that like, you know, I'm like, hey, I've been to all these other aquariums throughout America, and the Shed Aquarium is literally like the top level in my mind. I'm like, man, I have not seen anything that was to that level of awesomeness. Can you explain some of the coolest things you've seen there?
I mean, there's certainly a lot of stuff, but so I worked in what was called the Wild Reef exhibit, which is sort of down in the basement. So I worked with about 7 different species of sharks, and so I would be doing all aspects of the shark husbandry. So like feed-in sharks, we'd be scuba diving with them regularly.
Oh wow.
Doing medical procedures where we'd catch them up and then, you know, help the vets with all kinds of stuff. And then I'm actually a huge coral nerd. So corals were actually my main specialty other than working with the sharks. And so I had a 6,000 gallon reef tank that I was working on there, growing all kinds of corals. The shed sent me to the Bahamas to do coral conservation work in the wild. And so, I mean, yeah, I did. It was an incredible job, but it was honestly like extremely stressful. It was very different than I had expected the lifestyle of being a marine biologist to be. And so that's why I ultimately ended up becoming a full-time reptile breeder.
Man, so you have been literally killing it for a long time now. That is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, so as far as coral goes, I want to set up a saltwater tank personally.
Yeah.
A 6,000 gallon coral reef tank. I know a lot of people that are just into snakes don't know, but dude, that is insane. So what was your favorite coral in that tank of yours?
Oh, so well, depending on how familiar people are with corals, it's basically the genus Acropora, it's called. But so those are the staghorn corals. And so they're a hard coral that is generally like really branchy. Grows pretty fast, but I love those. But they actually grow in a ton of different growth forms. Like if you've ever seen on pictures of like wild reefs where there's those big like corals that are like a tabletop. They're like literally like just like a giant
absolutely.
table.
Those the ones that got bleached, like that were getting like that were turning all white and stuff. And I want to say in Australia for a while, like the Great Barrier Reef.
They are all over on the Great Barrier Reef, but unfortunately, yes, those were getting bleached, but actually almost all the corals are bleaching. So like when I was down in the Bahamas for the shed, and we were working on coral restoration, like the reefs were already in horrible shape. And that was about 3 or 4 years ago now when I was last down there. And so it's actually like pretty devastating, like seeing the state of wild reefs. But that's why, like, actually, it's something I haven't talked about a lot with, you know, morphologix and the snake business. But ultimately, like, as my business grows, I seriously want to add like a huge conservation initiative, like to my business where I'm not just, you know, producing badass like pet snakes or breeders for people, but like really giving back to the wild you know, as well is something that I'm actually like super passionate about. Because it's awesome having our animals here, like that we get to enjoy
Yeah.
in our homes, but simultaneously, like we got to really look out for the ones that are living in the wild too.
I absolutely agree. And in fact, I used
100%.
to get so upset about thinking about that, you know, we're destroying so many ecosystems and so much diversity is leaving the planet because of it.
Yep.
But then I started thinking and I was like, huh, I guess keepers really are the last Noah's Ark for these guys.
Seriously, yeah.
You
Um,
know,
and it's
it,
even crazier with like the dark frogs, for example. Like I literally have a couple dark frog morphs like downstairs that are most likely extinct in the wild, where it's
Awesome.
just like, and literally they only exist in people's collections and stuff now. So like we as keepers really do have like a large responsibility.
yeah.
I mean, totally, you're spot on, Shane.
I had really realized this once I had gotten into the axolotls because I have a few
Oh
axolotls
yeah, yeah.
and they're going extinct out in the wild. They're because it was such a specific area they had to live in that they're not really fit anywhere else, and the ones that are living are ending up losing their cool gills and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely a tough situation in way more than one way. There's so many things out there that I don't know that we're ever going to be able to actually save the majority of what needs to be saved out there. So that's why I'm kind of like to the point of where I'm 100% with you on I want this stuff to be around for years, you know. The only thing is I'm almost like I'm trying to get enough animals to eventually be able to like get my own like maybe tour, like people can tour my animals or whatever, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
can
Like a small
educate them.
zoo.
But yeah, but the real thing is that I want to give them as good of a lifestyle as possible. Like that's
For
the big
sure,
thing to
yeah.
me, you know. That actually brings me up to a very controversial thing. I might be stupid in even saying this, but
We won't
sometimes
think
I
you're
wonder
stupid.
about the size of enclosures for my ball pythons, even though I know it's good, they're good, but I'm just like, man, I feel like I got to give them more exercise or something. Like, I got to create an area just to like have my ball pythons have a like a spring break day or something. I don't know, man. Feel bad
I
for
give mine a spa day. I switch them out. I got 17 snakes. I got a cycle to where they get a spa day a month, and they get like a lot of them get 15-minute play dates. Like us. That's why I go get snakes on these shows because that's their play date. I do it
See,
all
but
with
I'm saying
Sparky.
like what about like I know it's stupid because they're probably not even going to utilize it. They're just going to sit in the corner the whole time.
Right?
But like get them a big enclosure and like a whole bunch of enrichment and everything and like see if they want to go and wander around, you know. Um at least
I
for
think
a
it's
Them
couple
definitely
cubes
days.
that
like,
those cubes that MJ
yeah.
got, they're really cool. Those
Oh yeah,
cubes.
for sure. Like that the arboreal stuff's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I guess that's the thing is like, you know, you create each environment toward what the animal likes. And I do know that my snakes are far more happy in their rack system than they were whenever they were in their just aquarium setup. Although I tried to give them like good enrichment and keep it as best as possible. Um, yeah, they just didn't seem as confident and as comfortable as they do now.
Yeah.
And I never have an issue feeding them anymore. Like whenever I had them in the aquarium, sometimes they wouldn't want to eat and you know this and that. Now, just like your snakes, Marcus, whenever you go to open it,
Yeah.
you got to be ready.
Oh
you
yeah. Oh
know,
I got
totally.
one
And
that's like that.
yeah.
He flies out that thing every time I open it, no matter what. That's why I can't hold him because he wants food. He's too food oriented.
I'm a coward. I use snake gloves most of the time. I mean,
Stop
not
looking
like
at
I'm
me.
that scared of getting bit by a snake, but I'm just like, why do it if I have to? or why do it if I don't have to? You know, like I got these
Yeah.
gloves, I might as well use them.
I mean, whatever makes you comfortable is what matters. But to be honest with you, like I've only been bit by a ball python, I think twice ever. And I've literally had probably like over 1,000 of them by now, you know? And like, I literally just really watch their body language. And
Yeah.
like at night,
Yeah.
usually like if I'm opening, especially like the adult tubs at night, because I know they're going to come flying out, I open the tub with a hook. So I'm about 2 feet away, just like a hook. So then they come flying out, but they don't actually ever get me. And then they realize, like, oh, there's not food. And then I can just pick them up.
I do the old.
Yeah.
Try to open it all slow and be like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Where are they going? You know, like, I don't know.
But I mean, honestly, like, I mean, the hatchlings are definitely the feistiest, but like, I usually just don't even, like, I pulled out a couple snakes right now, but honestly, I almost never pull out snakes after dark because my snakes are all chill the entire day long. But as soon as it's nighttime, they only got food on their mind. And so, like, I could open these tubs any time of the day and they're just curled up in a ball and I just pick them up and, you know, they're totally chill. At night, usually flying out looking for a rat. So that's for me just like the hard cutoff. I just don't handle at night. And I've literally only been bit twice in all the years of breeding. So but I guess I'm cautious in that respect.
Okay, so I got bit the other day, but I knew he was gonna bite me. I mean, I was telling Ken before I even picked him up, I was like, this dude hates me. You know, and it's, you know, it's nighttime, it's 9 o'clock right now. So it's like, you know, man, I picked him up with the snake glove and then I took the other glove off and I was trying to do the little sly, like, oh yeah, you didn't notice that it's my hand now. And as soon as he felt my skin, he was like, that's the dude. Oh, and he
really?
got me. I was like, ah. Hey, anybody want to watch that? Episode 5. Sorry, got to plug my own stuff.
I got you, man.
I fell off my seat on what, episode 8 or 9?
Episode 9.
Yeah, I fell off my seat on episode 9, so go check it out.
Yeah, it's like our coolest moments are pretty lame, but you know, it is what it is.
Hey, there are moments.
So do you have any puzzle projects?
I actually don't. So what I am working is the cryptic gene really heavily. And to me, like cryptic and puzzle sort of filled the same sort of niche. Like they're different genes. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're like compatible at all, but they do very similar things in terms of how they like thin out and break up the eye stripes and actually sort of like the banding and way that they stretch the pattern is very similar to me. And so I really like both, but I got into cryptic first. And so at this point, since I have, I think like 7 or so recessives that I'm pushing, I'm like, that's kind of where I got to cap it. Like, I really just can't take on another project.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing the cryptic project really heavy to try to get similar looking stuff to the puzzle stuff.
I love it. The cryptic project, I was just telling Ken that, you know, I want some of that. And I have one snake that they thought they were going to get visual clowns and it came out a het. And I've been looking at it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I don't know.
So you put that up there for like a microsecond, so everyone's no one got to read it.
Sorry. It was whenever he was talking about the sharks.
Oh yeah, all right.
Hey, they were the sharks were sweethearts, honestly. Like, never even like got close to getting bit by the sharks. Like, the snakes are spicier for sure.
Wow.
Hey man, I ain't trying to swim in a bunch of snakes either. You know.
Yeah, well, fair. But honestly, the sharks, like, you would not believe how intelligent those animals are. Like,
no, I do. That's why I'm scared.
Yeah, but so like all the sharks at the aquarium, we had trained that we would put a specific sign in the habitat, and then those specific group of sharks would come over and literally touch like the target with their nose, and
What?
then we'd offer them food. So like they're very smart animals, but it was not like scary at all.
Dang, man, that's crazy.
But yeah, it really blew my mind. I didn't really know
All right,
how
so
smart they were.
I know that sharks are intelligent enough to know, like, hey, man, I probably don't want to bite this random dude out here swimming with
Yeah.
his kid, you know? But, like, dude, I don't know. There's something inside of me that, like, when we're out swimming and in the ocean, I will not go farther than the last person out there. Like, I'll go right to his line and be like, all right, and, like, stay kind of close to him, too. Because I figure, like, even if, I get drugged down, he'll at least wave for somebody,
Yeah. Well, and
But,
I mean, like, I think it's just like part of human nature to be afraid of that type of thing because, like, we're in water and we can't actually see what's going on down there,
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's just natural for us. Actually, I don't have any fish tanks because I got rid of them all while I was working at the aquarium because I was working with fish all the time. But me and my
yeah,
girlfriend
you
are
don't
about
you
to.
don't want to mess with fish if that's your job.
But now I want to mess with fish again now
Right.
that I left the aquarium a little while back. Me and my girlfriend are about to set up a reef tank again soon. So I'm going to get back into it as a hobby, but no longer a full-time career.
Where were you, Tamara? Talking about where you rewatch the video.
Go back.
Sorry, I got sidetracked, but
I know it's
yeah, no,
difficult.
I think it's natural to be afraid of sharks, just like a lot of people are afraid of
Are
snakes.
afraid of
But
snakes.
it's
I
like
know.
once you handle a ball python, you're like, why would I be afraid of this? They're so peaceful and cool. And honestly, sharks are one of the species of sharks that I was diving with all the time are zebra sharks, and they're not like your typical shark with like the big teeth and stuff. They actually have like really small mouths, and they have sort of bony plates in their mouth that they use to crush like shellfish and shrimp. So they don't have like big teeth or anything.
Gotcha.
And these sharks are like the friendliest. They're literally like puppy dogs. Like they just come up to you and you could like scratch them on the head and they would just like hang out with you while you're like cleaning the glass or something in the habitat, like they were like, yeah, sharks are really underappreciated animals, honestly.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I could get into swimming with sharks. I don't think. I mean, that's just like having a Burmese or a reticulated. I don't think I want to try to handle 15 plus foot snake like by myself. If I had someone else here, maybe. My daughters ain't gonna help me do that. Like, no way.
All right, because I was gonna say, Ken, you already told me you got me, and now you're gonna back out.
Well, like no, if I move down there, like when Kira's 18 and I come down to Texas, we can get a berm or a reticulated in our collection because we'll be handling it together. But for me to try to take that on, no.
Yeah, like, all right, so Tamara, Rain, Hayden, none of them are gonna help me at all with a big old snake like that. Something that's like 20 foot or something, nah, they don't want nothing to do with it. So I need another like grown man to help me out. And Ken's like, oh, I'll help you out. But every time we talk about it, I see him like, I don't know if I want to help him out.
Well, that fear of me doing it myself, like, is what is manifested on camera, because if I was there with you, I'd be like, all right, you got the head, I got the back, let's go.
Yeah, I knew you'd always give me the head to deal with.
I'll take the rear, I don't care.
Trying to fight a giant snake.
Yeah, the big
I'll keep the tail from coming up.
What was that, Marcus?
I was just gonna say the big snakes are definitely a totally different game from like this.
Yeah.
When I first started getting into this, my mom was like, what are you going to do with, these snakes when they get big? And I'm like, you're thinking of it the wrong way. They're not going to get big enough to where they could hurt me. And now that she knows that, she's a lot more comfortable with me having 17 snakes right by my head every night.
Yeah.
They're not going to get out and kill me.
You know, it's kind of funny because I have a tegu and everybody's like real cool with it, and I'm like, dude, she will mess you up. Like, I'm like, she don't mess around, man. My tegu is moody, bro.
Yeah. Well, a bite like that's just like, not too bad, but you get a bite from reticulated, you're gonna be knowing it. You're gonna know.
Man. Yeah, I would not want to experience that. That's for sure.
And if they lock on, you're really gonna know it.
See, I really want one though. You know why? You know why, Ken? Because whenever you're at a show or something, dude, if you're the dude with the big one, everybody's like, "Hey, man."
We're gonna go check him out. Yeah, it's definitely something. It's an attention grabber for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, dude, and I'm not saying like get it normal. If I get one, dude. All right, so I don't have any plan on ever breeding retics by any means.
Maybe I wouldn't mind having a side pod
for me, and I'll be like, yeah, sure. But honestly, I'm gonna get like a $10,000 retic as a pet, bro. And he's just my stunner.
Yep.
Just stunting on everybody, like, hey man, look at this thing. I have no plan on doing anything with it. It's just awesome.
Those side pods reticulateds are awesome. I love it.
Just a pet is totally cool.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't need to be the craziest. I mean, just one that size in general is really cool looking. But how awesome would it be to have like, just an insane one that's like, yeah, I just have it to have it.
Dude, yeah that'd be awesome. It's crazy.
Right? I don't know. And that kind of all feeds into my eventual like zoo type of idea. The funny thing is, it's not really my idea because I live 2 houses behind Snake Farm Zoo, which is like I think they have all 10 of the world's most deadly snakes in there.
No kidding.
They got
lions and tigers and stuff because I hear them roaring when you're outside.
Yeah, they got monkeys and lions and they got a bunch of stuff over there for sure. But I literally live on their property. It's just like 2 houses down.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna like be happy about me like doing this, or if he's like, hey man, starting up on my property.
Here.
Right.
That's funny.
So I'm always just kind of wondering, like, I haven't really said much to him because I don't want to like let him know that like eventually I'm probably gonna be your competition because I don't think he's gonna sell it. So
does he even know you're doing ball pythons now?
Someone has told him. I didn't.
And does he have a problem with that?
No, I don't know. I don't know because it was my lady's mom that told him. So I don't know. I don't know how that went. Tamara, how does that go? Tamara would know more. Tamara, in the comments, comment below what happened with like Eric and your mom. Is he cool with it? Does he hate it? Because I mean, I'm also thinking like if I get like snakes that are stillborn or whatever, or have bad kinks or something, like he has a bunch of snakes that eat snakes.
So yeah, you could help him out.
Yeah, I'm like, here, man, take these guys because it's sad to look at. I don't want to see it happen. Like.
I have thought about like getting a king snake or something, like just for when that does happen, but
yeah,
might be worth it.
Okay, so when I was like 15, my brother and I had gotten some ball pythons, and then we had. So this was actually probably like 19 years ago.
Holy.
No, I don't know. My math's messed up right now.
It's all good.
But anyways, a long time ago, right? Me and my brother, we had a bunch of ball pythons. We got a king snake, and now we weren't trying to like cohabitate or anything, but we had like only one big ass tank back in the day. So we put dividers in there. within like the first hour, the king snake had gotten through the dividers into the ball python one and almost had our ball python dead by the time I got to it. It was like less than a half an hour.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That thing, I was like, oh man, we can't have this no more. And then like a king snake is like way more like, hey, I'm gonna bite the crap out of you, like. So when I was like separating them, he's like tagging me and stuff. I was like, all right, I'm taking this guy back.
Yeah, the balls are definitely a lot more chill.
Yeah, and I mean, I was a horrible like animal keeper at that time, and
he's a kid.
Yeah, So I didn't know the difference at the time. I was like, oh, I don't know, that one's white and black, that one's brown.
Yeah.
Put them together.
Right? Like, I'm surprised I wasn't trying to like cohabitate all these snakes together.
I mean,
hey,
right?
Poison dart frogs. Super interested in poison dart frogs. I love them. I think they're awesome. Super sad about another thing about them though. You cannot cohabitate them. How do you feel about that?
Highly frowned upon. So, so actually, like at the Shed Aquarium, for example, we did cohabitate dart frogs.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm not like trying to talk shit on Shed or something, but I'm just saying like, so it can be done in terms of providing the animals with good husbandry, but we like kept species that were very unrelated to each other together. So it was like they'd occupy different niches of the habitat, and also there was no chance of them like hybridizing or anything, because that's what a lot of it is. Because like when I had mentioned like that a couple of the morphs that I have are either like extinct in the wild or nearly extinct in the wild, it's like we really need to preserve those bloodlines, just in case we do end up sort of arcing them and eventually re-releasing any animals to the future, into the wild in the future. And so that's sort of where the like idea of not cohabitating any dart frogs together came from, is that we really don't want to like mix up anything that might breed together and then sort of like muddy the species bloodlines. And especially with some species, like I work with Ranitomea imitator, which is just a tiny little thumbnail dart frog. And there are tons of locales of that species that all look totally different from each other. And it's like, so they're all the same species. So if you put like two different locales together, they would definitely breed and you'd probably get some cool looking babies from it. But then you're like, suddenly you no longer have like a Veradero and banded. Now you have just like some like kind of like mutt in a sense, and then it can get just out of hand. So yeah, highly frowned upon to keep them together. But like if you do it like really carefully and like different species, you can do it. But
so I do have like, I've always been wondering, I'm like, all right, so I understand the whole Noah's Ark type of thing of like, having to re-release them, blah, blah, I get that. But it's not like you're losing the frogs that you're having already, like the specific ones that you have, you still have those. They just now have hybrid babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm like, I don't know. I never really got that because I was like, because incest isn't great for years and years and years, right?
No
like,
doubt.
We all agree.
Well, and so, like, for example, so Ranitomea sirensis highlands are one of the morphs that I have that frog is thought to pretty much for sure be extinct from the wild. And that's one where like a lot of keepers are constantly trading frogs together. Like when your group is breeding, you're trading frogs with other people. And most of the frogs you can trace back to when they were imported from the wild. So you can actually like try to avoid inbreeding as best as possible, even though like no doubt if you're keeping them like in captivity for 50 years or something, we're probably going to have a very like closed off genetic diversity. It's going to be like very limited genetics. but like we're doing the best we can with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I'm not trying to like breed, you know, 2 frogs together and then breed their babies together and then breed their babies together. And then it's like I'm constantly trying to bring in frogs from other people's collections to like mix in new genetics too.
That's kind of why I like the aspect of me and Shane doing what we're going to be doing, because we're not basically taking sons and breathing them right back to their mothers and then, you know, taking their babies and breeding them back to females that were 3 years old from the same pairings and stuff. It's going to be mixed up a little bit.
I mean,
Sure.
You know, as far as hold on, I do want to address this comment though. So yes, I understand that once all the pure are dead, then all you have is hybrids. But I'm not saying to not still breed more purebreds with other purebreds. I'm just saying if you end up with another cool one, why is that a bad thing? You know, it's sweet looking. I seen this one guy had a bunch of like hybrid ones, and I was like, dang, those things look amazing. And I don't know. I totally get both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm sad about it. I mean, I understand it, but I just, dude, you know how cool it would be to like just have a little tree frog thing with just like the Skittles, like just the color of the rainbow in there. Like, come on.
I mean, like we're all breeding ball pythons for different color morphs, so like I totally understand it, right? So like I totally get it. I think why it's so frowned upon in the frogs though is like in ball pythons, we're only working with one species that is from like one locale, basically. Like we don't have like ball pythons from this exact region and this exact region.
And you're absolutely right, because whenever people try to interbreed ball pythons with other snakes, it's really frowned upon, like a blood python or is it a blood python or a woma? I think it was a woma.
Yeah, they can create quite a few different.
Yeah, so I mean, I get that. That makes more sense to me than anything, actually. As far as that goes, okay.
And
it's
well, that came up. That was a question I had written down that we didn't get to. What color would you like to see in ball pythons?
Oh, well, I mean, like in a dream world, I'd say definitely like blue or like purple, like real purple.
Like, I want to make a real red snake, like a red ball python.
And I think red too. So I mean, pretty much any color that we haven't made yet, I would love to see.
Yeah.
But I think like blue, like if we could legitimately make a blue snake, would be insane. Cool. But I think the way that the ball pythons make pigments, at least so far, it seems like it's not gonna be possible. But you know, you never know. There's always stuff that they're like, they said it couldn't be done, and then we'll have like, you know,
black xanthic and another type of xanthic.
Yeah, there you go.
We're going blue.
One.
Going blue.
So before
this,
Ken had asked me that question before, and my question was the exact same as yours. I was like, blue or purple?
Yeah. I mean,
because like, a purple
red's my favorite color.
Man.
I like red. I want to make a red one. That'd be cool.
I think solid red and purple are both possible. Like, I think it's totally possible because, like, red, like, I mean, like, for example, the Pompeii, like, definitely has, like, some, like, really close to, like, just red on it. And then same thing, like, purple, like, bananas, obviously, and, like, some Ultramel stuff. And, like, they come out with a lot of purple, but we just have to, like, find a way to make it darker and more intense. And then, like, keep it into, you know, adulthood.
Yeah, like, to see an adult ball python being like bright purple, that would be,
it'd be insane.
You know.
Is anyone else interested in following up on what Dave Kaufman said on that video? He has a green morph. Did you hear that? At the very end of that video, he said one of the ones that was the imports that he's keeping is green. And he said green. And me and Shane has this green thing going on. Okay. So that's why it stuck out to me.
Hold up. So I have heard that as well, Ken. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, freaking Ken. Because Ken thinks that, like, he swears he sees green in all of his snakes. He's like, oh, look at that one, but it's got a green tint to
like,
it.
lesser's over butter. lessers look to me like they have a green tint to it.
Yes,
Like
he says
they're not
all my
green.
butters
They
are
just have a
green.
green hue to it. Certain snakes I see like a greenish hue. And
I
you
mean,
don't
it's
see it.
obviously like there are green pythons, like the green tree python. So like,
Yeah,
it's
but
definitely
not a
possible.
green
But
ball python.
yeah, I mean, I've never seen one yet, but
There will be.
I don't
I
doubt
think
Marcus
eventually
Dave
is
there'll
gonna
Kaufman
be.
found
create it.
something and it'll be out. Green.
Honestly, like I bet sooner or later there will be actual gene editing in the ball pythons too, because like, you know, for now, like we're starting to do gene testing where you can like test for certain morphs, but it's honestly not like that far of a stretch from there to like gene editing where we can just like specifically try to create certain morphs, you know, in a lab setting.
What's
Yeah,
your
I mean,
opinion on the
I
genetic
don't
testing?
think I can say that I don't think that the what you were saying, Marcus, is actually going to take off too well because it didn't. It wasn't very successful whenever they did it with other animals as well. Like, because they can do that already with many other animals, but
Yeah.
you don't see like like a cockapoo or some shit. Like it's not created in a lab. It's
Well, I'm
people
not
like us
saying
that
like
are
I
doing it.
want to do that or like am in favor of it, but I think it's definitely like a possibility that we
Oh
could
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah. No, I just think that it'll end up, like I think it'll kind of be like how they were doing with the sheep, where they created a few clones or whatever that they
Yeah, yeah,
altered.
yeah.
So I mean, I do think they will do it. I don't get me wrong, I agree. But yeah, I don't think that people overall are going to be like, yeah, let's get this ball python that's all genetically people are going to be
Yeah,
like, no, what's the originals, or this guy made one real close to that, let's just get that.
I agree.
um, and then
And
the
to
price
answer your
obviously will be crazy too for a genetically modified ball python,
yeah,
unless it has legs.
that would definitely be a game
What
changer.
about
It
tits?
would.
Give it
It would.
tits.
Yeah. But to answer your previous question, Ken, like what do I think about the gene testing? Like I think it's awesome. Like, I mean, just to not necessarily spend 3 years raising up a female to find out if she proves het clown, like, and just find out from a shed test, like, I mean, I think that is awesome, like, no doubt about it.
I've heard mixed reviews on it with people, and I actually got in a conversation with someone about it last night to where they said they sent away, well, someone they know sent away proven breeders and they came back negative. I think
So
that
it's right.
they rushed this process and it's not foolproof right now. I think they need to redefine their methods and make it foolproof. I mean, that's just how I feel. I don't know.
Honestly,
Maybe I'm wrong.
that's the first me
Yeah.
hearing about that, and I'm not gonna lie, that shit just let the wind out of my sails a little bit.
Yeah, it did to me too. Like when I mean, I'm sitting there like in this like chat room, like all for it, and then I'm reading this, going, "What? Really?" Like, just
Yeah, I mean,
changed the way I
I was
looked at it.
truly
Like,
excited about it. Like I'm
it
truly
took a lot
excited
of
about things
excitement
like
out of it
that.
for me. But I don't know, to
So
know that it
yeah,
could be wrong.
and I agree, like, so no matter what, like, no matter what, there's gonna be a certain percentage of error in the tests, right? Like,
Yeah, there's going to
they
be
they
human error.
put,
There's going
like
to be
huh?
bad tests or whatever. Yeah,
So, like, even if they get really good at it, it might be, like, 99% accurate or something, and so you might be that, like, 1 out of 100 case where you send in your shed and, like, it comes back as a false negative or something, you know? So, like, no matter what, there's, like, that risk, and just the better they get, hopefully, the less are wrong and the more are right, you know? But I definitely thought the same thing, and, like, I'm still a little skeptical too in that sense because, like, I know if I send one out and it comes back positive, like, that it's het clown or het pied, then I know that snake is het clown or
Right.
het pied. But if they come back and say it's not het clown or het pied or something, I honestly still think it's like it's a.
I like that.
I
That's
would
yeah,
tell
no.
someone like if I was going to sell it, I would tell them like the result came back negative. But since there is the chance of error, like you never
Mhm.
know, it still could prove out as that gene. But um,
right.
I think like there's like you're right. Like there's definitely still a lot of like work to be done, and like for them to streamline the process, make it more accurate, and like just overall like improve on it. But I think it's a
Yeah.
really good start, like where it's at now. And like I'm gonna
I
send
agree.
out a bunch of sheds. Like I have over I think 35 or 40 snakes that I want to get tested, which is gonna be really expensive. But
I have 3 out of my 17 that I want to get. They're 50 percenters or 66, and I
yeah.
want to make sure before I throw them in.
See, I was thinking about that too. I mean, so let's see, 35, you're going to be looking at
Like
about
several
5 grand,
grand.
6 grand.
Like this boy here, I'm not even testing him. He's 100% clown and lab and 66% pie, but his belly, he's got
This
pie
man,
track.
hey Marcus, you see them, right? He's got these all like question mark snakes.
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like
Yeah,
those. Yeah, those look
That's
like
the 66. It's 66 pie, but he's got marks all the way up his
nah,
belly. So
yeah, that's 66. You could mark that as good there.
yeah,
so I'm
that's
not sending him out. I'm just counting on him to prove out.
yeah, I would bet.
Yeah, that those
Yeah, I
were
mean,
like
like
some
I
of the best
definitely
pine tracks
know.
I've ever seen. Honestly, I got a
Yeah,
girl that I'm like fingers crossed because I don't know, but
Well, I got a gravel double head clown ultramel that has pie tracks like that. I'm beginning to think that might be a het marker for ultramel as well. The
I
pie
have
tracks.
no idea.
I haven't heard that, no, but
he's just making it up.
it looks just like, no, I'll go get him. It looks just like his belly there, tracks all the way down it, but it's het clown head ultramel. I'll go get him. Hold on.
Oh man,
So I
I'll
have
finish my
hatched
work
some
up.
like yellow
I
bellies
need to
that
stretch
look
out
like
a
they
minute
have
anyways.
tracks.
I don't know what you were saying. Ken was yelling about some
No,
stuff.
no worries. I was just saying I've hatched some yellow belly stuff that definitely like basically has tracks. Like it's just such a strong like yellow belly influence, especially with other
Uh-huh.
genes. Like I mean, obviously orange dream is a gene that tracks a lot too, but like yellow belly kind of tends towards that. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Honestly, my hypo yellow or my yellow belly hypo boy, dude, awesome tracks all down
Yeah,
him. Looked
yeah,
amazing. He's not heifer pied at all,
yeah.
but those track. I mean, he does look awesome. I love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
for sure has tracks.
yeah,
But you never know. I mean, so like I have an African import that has
yeah.
crazy tracks too. Like you would swear is het pied, and I paired a pied with her and didn't get anything. So I don't know. It's you never know.
Well, see, I think these het markers are just het markers. I think the pie tracks are associated with pied, but it can be a marker for something else, some other het.
Oh, that's an
Yeah,
interesting idea.
that's just
Um,
how I feel about it from what I see. I could be wrong.
I mean, test it out. That's like ultimately like just we'll see. Like it's
Okay,
interesting though. I've never
so
thought about that.
coming from two dudes that haven't done anything to where you have like created a bunch of snakes and everything, uh do we sound crazy, or is this stuff that you still sit there and think about all the time, or is it just like, oh well, they'll learn, or
We
like
just a
No,
bunch of
dude.
your
dumbasses.
aspect on
So I mean, honestly, like I mean, I've been doing this for like 10 years, but I'm still learning stuff like almost every single day. Like learning, I mean, it's just so infinitely complex. Like
it?
the
Mhm.
whole ball python thing, like everything from like learning better ways to feed your snakes or breed your snakes or learning about all the different morphs and how they combine together. It is so endless. Like I'm still learning stuff like every day doing this. And I think, like that's just the way it is. We're none of us are ever going to know it all about
Right?
like these animals. Like you gotta almost keep like the newbie mindset the whole time, I feel like, because if you stop learning like about what's going on, then you're gonna start actually falling behind. Like so
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to learn constantly too. And if you have an idea that's something different from what I've heard, like I'm not going to just be like, oh, you haven't been in it as long as me, you must be wrong. Like I'd seriously like consider like any ideas because I definitely don't know the best way to do all of this. And so like I'm trying to learn too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
here's my
that's
point of view
great.
on this
That's
one
the
too.
best way you could have ever answered that.
But that's honestly the truth. Like, I mean, like, I'm just trying to learn all the time, Shane. Like, literally, while I'm cleaning all these snake tubs, which I mean takes me a lot of hours every week, I just listen to podcasts, like learning stuff the entire time that I'm cleaning tubs. Like, I'm just trying to learn, like, because
Yeah.
ultimately that just like keeps compounding on itself and helps you like with everything, you know?
Which
So here's how
actually,
I
yeah.
feel about this one. Hold on, let me touch on this one. So I got a bunch of hets, and I bought these snakes with just the hets and lined up the hets without many codoms because I feel that I have a better chance of lining up these hets with less codoms in the way. Now,
Oh,
everyone's like, no,
that's
it's
good.
it's all done on like with recessive, it's all percentage wise. You're never going to do anything to increase them percentages. And I'm like, all right, okay, well, I'm
Huh.
going to try my way and see what happens just because that's the way I learn. I
So,
have to do it
okay.
to learn.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
I've never heard that
what
either.
I was going to say, Ken thinks that because he has like, he just tries to go double hat, double hat, double hat with no codowns whatsoever, hoping that
One,
he's going to get
one
more
codon.
double hat or one codown. Okay. Where I'm saying, dude, it's good to have 2 or 3 codowns in each side because when you do go, if you don't get your double recessive, you're still getting good codowns out.
Yeah.
I get that too, but I want to
And
try
it's
to hit
not
the
going to
double
help you
recessive
any.
or even
Well,
triple recessive.
okay, so yeah, do you think that it helps you any to not have codowns in your double recessive as far as more chances of getting the double visual?
I don't. I mean, I think personally, I think like statistics are that if you have a 1/16th shot from a double het to double het pairing, I think that's just what it is. But I haven't done like a ton of double het to double het. Like, if you really want to know the answer, you'd have to do like a ton of pairings and then do a statistical analysis on it and be like,
There you
this is
go.
what, but in
That'll be
reality, that
me.
takes like years to do, Ken. And so, like, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you not to, but like personally, I'm trying to get as many like not just as many genes as possible, but I'm trying to like immediately add because it is like I know it's such a long-term project. Like if I'm working on Desert Ghost Clown or like Clown Pied or something, it's like gonna be years before I'm producing my goal snake, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
like I'm trying to as soon as possible start working in whatever codoms I ultimately want in there. But like
Right.
I can't say it's impossible, like what you're saying. Like I have no idea. Like no one's ever tested it as far as I know.
I
So
will say people are against my theory.
Okay. No, I don't want to say. Well, yeah, they are, Ken.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
they're
are.
against my theory. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit what people say. I mean,
yeah,
that's how I
Oh,
base
more than
things, and that's what I did. If I messed up, then guess what? That's a lesson learned. You know.
I mean, again, like there's not really any harm in trying it. Like as long
Yeah.
as you're enjoying it and
Yeah.
having fun, like just try it, see what happens.
Now, if
And
I
like,
hit a double recessive from a triple recessive clutch, I'm going to be happy.
Okay, so
oh
see
yeah,
that I think that you do have more chances. Like if you're doing triple hets or quadruple hets, yes, you have way more of a chance of hitting a double visual.
totally.
Well,
But
that's what I'm
just by
working with.
having more
Triple hats
codons
trying
ain't
to
gonna
hit
help you.
doubles.
What?
Well, that's what I'm doing. Working with triple hats trying to hit doubles.
I know, but you were saying double hets with or without codons. And there's a difference. If you're doing triple hets, then yeah, you're definitely going to bring up your chances of getting a double
Oh.
visual better.
I
But
guess my wording was poor.
because if you're using triple hets with codons, you're still going to have the same chances on the recessives. You're just going to have more codons than the babies.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I subscribe to what Shane was just saying, but like, prove us wrong, man. Like, I mean, I don't
If I
care if I'm
do,
wrong. Like, it's
if I do prove out like and get just something insane, I'm gonna be bragging.
yeah, I mean,
I'll be bragging.
please
Well,
do.
it's very funny how we actually have our collection set up, because Ken does have a lot more recessives.
Double and triple.
Yeah, like double and triple recessives and stuff. Uh, However, he doesn't have jack for codoms, where I don't have like a bunch of recessives. I have like a single recessive or a recessive and maybe a het, but they're not usually like double hets and stuff like that. So yeah, mine's more codom. Like I have a bunch of codoms and a recessive. So I'm trying to work off of that, and I'll make my own double hets. Was my theory.
Yeah.
Because
But
then
see,
I'll have
I'm going to
a
have
gang
double
of
hets made
codoms.
for him, and he's going to be sending me codoms. So we're set up to help each other pretty good.
Yeah,
and so that works out totally.
yeah, because then I'll end up getting, whenever I go to make my double hets, they'll come out with a bunch of codoms in them. And he's got either a double head or a triple head or a double visual or something to be.
I'll have a visual het for you.
Right.
Hopefully.
So, yeah, between the two of us, it's actually going to help us out a lot by doing completely separate ideas. But yeah, this is kind of the debate him and I have been going through for a long time, is like codoms or recessives. And I like recessives. I'm not against recessives. I just think that which way is a better way to, we should say, which way is a better way to start ball python breeding? You know what I'm saying? Like, which is going to get us to the end first? Because Ken is going to get double visuals before I do. So it's actually like it's a little I don't know.
And I don't think anyone has figured out like the best way to do that, because they're really
Shane did what he wanted to do, and I did what I wanted to do. That's basically where we stood.
And like, it's cool that you guys are working together, but so like a lot of it has to do with just how big you want your collection to be, I think, because like if you're okay with having a huge collection or like have the space for it and whatnot, like then you can do both. You can have like projects that are all single recessive where you're just like trying to build up like as many different genes into your just clown project as possible, while simultaneously you have double hets or triple hets trying to hit a DG clown or Ultramel clown or something. So like, and then so that's honestly what I'm trying to do, is like I'm working all my like recessive projects individually still, like Pied, Clown, Desert Ghost, but I'm also working with like the hets of all of these together. So I don't know. I think you got to do both a bit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, he's working one end and I'm working one end. But I wanted to go back and explain why Will said hello, Ken Evans, and a bunch of numbers. I guess my Instagram wasn't matched up with my name on YouTube, and it made it hard for people to find me from YouTube to Instagram. So I went in and changed my Instagram name to match my YouTube name. Now people could find me. So he was making a joke about it and putting all kind of numbers. I get you, Will.
So Will, yes, I have already started.
I'm gonna put him away quick.
The puzzle project. I have a yellow belly Enchi het puzzle female going to my OD pastel Enchi het puzzle male. Also possible het hypo, but it doesn't really matter on that. So
hey, you can test it though.
Yeah. See, so that's what I was already looking, and I was like, man, this is gonna be about $2,500 to get all my snakes. I was like, dang.
Yeah, because that's like that's exactly the game changer of testing. Because like, for example, if you then do produce puzzles and you find out that he is het hypo, and then you can even test like if those puzzles are het hypo, like you can suddenly hit like a snake that is way further along than you expected.
Absolutely.
Just like through something like that,
Absolutely. I am so for the testing. And I totally agree with you earlier when you were talking about how, you know, it's better to have it say like how it's like, oh, well, if it's a no, it could be wrong. But if it's a yes, it's always going to be a yes. And that's really awesome, you know, because it's like, hey,
I never looked at it that
sure
way.
got this now, you know? I don't know. It's cool.
I never looked at it that way. So that reassures me a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least for now, like I'm sure it's gonna change a lot. Like it's so new, like it'll change a lot over the next few years.
Yeah, I'd say in 3 years it's going to be down to a science to where it's as accurate as it can be. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah, I agree totally. Like, gotta work out all the bugs.
Yeah, I'm excited about that puzzle project. Will's also doing a puzzle. Excuse me. Will's also doing a puzzle project, and he was actually trying to get my puzzle female from me, but it was like my puzzle female. I got her from a lady that was on Morph Market, but I don't want to disclose anything or nothing. But I bought another snake from her before, and it was a Kodam snake, so of course you can see the actual genes in it. Well, this one, she was wrong originally. She had said like, oh, it's an orange dream Enchi. And then I was like, what? And she's like, I mean, yellow belly Enchi. And I was like, all right, I kind of get OD yellow belly. So I was like, I don't know if she actually was het for puzzle or not, but I got a real good deal on it. Mm-hmm. This girl ended up going through a bunch of stuff, going to like the hospital or whatever, and like had a bunch of health issues. Now she couldn't take care of her snakes and was like, hey, you know, here's I got an extra one I'm gonna throw in. Well, I ended up getting 2 snakes with it, and there was supposed to be one a visual desert ghost and the other one a het. But I don't think either of them are visuals. Or
I think they're both hets.
They might be hets. They might be hets because like the pattern on them has like that visual, like I don't know, like desert ghosts seem like they have like a sharp pattern to me. It looks kind of sharp, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, the lines are more defined.
Well, yeah, like they just like, you know, like instead of it being like a smooth circle, it's always like chink chink, like by their necks and stuff, it seems like.
Chink chink.
I think the color for me is the easiest way to tell.
How?
Just the color and like the contrast on them. Like
bro, I need your help. I need your help, man.
But the thing is the male is the nicer looking of the 2, and it's the one that bites.
Yeah, episode 5, you get a good look at the male. That dude.
So like, here's she's spicy right now, but so
okay,
here's
hold up. We got to get that up there.
This is a desert ghost het cryptic girl.
Dude, all right.
You can see just like how bright. I mean,
hey, can you get it really close to the camera to see like in the alien heads? Are they dirty in there? Like, are they still like?
Oh yeah. There's still like some speckle in.
Oh, dude, Ken, you see
I think the male is.
Dude, I might. Yeah. Okay, they might have been right. They might have been right. And if so, then I got DGs. And it was supposed to be 2 boys, and I got a boy and a girl.
Desert Ghost does still have some like pepper in the.
Okay, because I was like, when I was looking at other ones, they were like so perfectly clean, and I was like, dude, I mean, the boy is cleaner than the female, but like I don't know, it just doesn't look like how it looked before. But yeah, by looking at that one, dude, that's oh man.
Yeah.
Ken, you know, I might have it because all right, I really. Ooh, Tamara, are you in the chat? If you are, get the snake gloves and grab Alucard and bring him out here. I don't think she's gonna do it because Alucard is by far the meanest snake I have.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I don't
If
even know
she,
what I'm
hey,
gonna do with them in
if
here.
she brings Alucard out, I'm gonna go grab Sparky. If she brings Alucard, I'll go grab Sparky.
Hey, hey, I don't know if you want to actually, Tamara. Well, look at him. See if he's acting like he's trying to regurgitate, because he's a little sketchy boy and he just ate today. I don't want him all.
I wouldn't mess
Yeah,
with
you
him.
gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess with him then. I just wait.
Yeah. Yeah. But dang. I really like that. I'm excited. I hope that it ends up being DG. Either way, I'm breeding the brother to the sister so that for sure, if there's a visual in or if there's recessives in there, it's for sure coming out in
Yeah,
baby. So
totally. Yeah.
but the lady had thought she had given me 2 males and one was a female. So once that had happened, I started questioning everything. And now I'm in this like whole whirlwind of questioning all the snakes I bought from her. Like, so I'm like,
Yeah, it
okay,
definitely makes you wonder.
yeah. So the puzzle and my because I bought my acid fire pinstripe from her.
Okay.
I got it on a great deal because she was going through a bunch of stuff. However, I was worried because I was like, I don't know if this is acid, blah blah. After a long time of me and Ken looking at many snakes, it is definitely acid.
Well, that's good.
Yes, we have looked through like for hours and hours, and I'm like, nah, man, there's nothing here that says that it's not acid. Because
we couldn't find nothing that says it's not, and everything it looked at, it looked like it was. So I mean, there was no questions.
Dude,
it was just questioning her.
She has been called a poor man's monsoon.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that upsets him.
She's like,
butthurt about that.
A lot of pattern on her. She has
acid
a lot.
Is a crazy gene. Like acid and confusion are definitely up there for me.
So I was gonna say, do you think confusion, acid, static are all the same thing? I think confusion and acid are, but not static.
I haven't paid that much attention to static, to be honest with you. So I do think acid and confusion are the same gene, but I honestly don't have an opinion on static.
What codon would you like to add to your collection?
Codon? I have like recessives I'm thinking about. Actually, I would like to add asphalt. I don't have any asphalt in my collection. I would definitely.
Yeah, I'm getting a pair of asphalts next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely like asphalt.
For blackhead pinstripe?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading.
Sorry. Yeah.
Poor man's monsoon.
I want to add Wookie. I want to start working Wookie.
See, well, I got offended when they said poor man's monsoon. I was like, damn, man, acid was good, bro.
Yeah. Wookie's cool too, for sure.
Yeah.
This is my first season. Like, I have a breeder male Wookie who's breeding right now, but
yeah, I'm gonna add a breeder male at some point next year.
Yeah, we'll see. That's a cool one. I'm trying to think, like, there's mostly recessives that I'm interested in adding right now, but
all right, two recessives? You get 2 recessives. What are your 2 recessives you want?
To add or like total in the collection?
Like to work a double recessive.
Wait, it's up to you. It's up to you.
Well, if it's what I already have, I definitely want to add Monarch and Monsoon are the 2 I would pick. But if I could only have 2 total, it would probably have to be Desert Ghost and Clown. Honestly, like, I've been working both of those projects the longest, other than Pied, and like, I just love them. You can't go wrong with.
Yeah, I mean, that's solid. That's super solid, dude. They make awesome snakes over and over. I don't
care. Like, they're really popular. Like, it's nothing like crazy rare or anything, but they just look really good. So, yeah.
How's a rainbow? Yeah.
Rainbow is. I've thought about getting rainbow a lot. Actually,
hypo rainbow. Hey,
Yeah,
don't get us going
Rainbow's
all
been
crazy
impressing
on
me.
those, Will. Huh?
Rainbow's been impressing me for sure.
Yeah, I like Rainbow.
Yeah. There's
That's
some
a
like
crazy
some of the
pairing.
hypo rainbow stuff has been coming out really nice, but there's really not much available from that project. Like I've looked at
No, there's not.
and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. There's yeah, who knows? There's so many genes.
Yeah, when Ken asked me, he was like, "Oh, what are two recessives? You'd really want?" And I was like, "Zebra and tri-stripe." And he was like, "Oh, damn." I was like, "Yeah, yeah,
Actually, tri-stripe is pretty cool too, I
yeah,
think.
yeah."
Zebra is interesting. Like I've thought about getting into zebra too, but I just feel like I need to see a little bit more still.
Okay, so I agree. The reason I wanted zebra was to try to make something cool out of it because I haven't seen anything that really made me be like, "Wow, I love that,"
Like
or like,
pastel
"Oh, that
zebra is like
sets
all
it
you really
apart."
see.
I mean, I got a super fly het clown that looks like a damn zebra. So,
Yeah.
I'm like, zebra, but it was just to mess with Ken because I knew he wasn't ready for that. He was thinking I was gonna say something else, and I was just like, ah.
Yeah,
So
that was left field.
yeah.
How about you,
Um,
Ken?
Um,
yeah, I would probably say, I mean, if indeed, because dude, that looks so good, honestly. From like 6 feet away, you can absolutely tell yours was 100% a DG. And then you got close and you're like, yeah, it's DG. And I'm like, dang, man, that looks like mine. Like,
I want to
because
see
Yeah,
what
I hope it
puzzle
is.
looks like in DG.
Huh?
from a
I, I want to see what
puzzle
puzzle
DG,
and DG looks like together.
I think puzzle needs more work too. I think me and Will are probably going to be doing some of the most work on puzzles right now, like to start us off on some weird stuff. Uh,
There's been a few DG puzzles made.
Yep.
So like Will Morrow's and Royal Canadian Reptiles has some
oh,
DG puzzle stuff, and then Ozzy also has. I think this year was his first year hatching some DG puzzle stuff, and I mean it looks crazy for sure. Like
oh, what?
I didn't read all that.
So he says that Super Striker is the same as Zebra, but half the cost. Straight out of the man himself, Wally. Um, he don't like DG. Just
right,
kidding.
each his own.
But
Hey,
yeah,
we could take it, Will. We don't care. We could
yeah,
take it.
you're good, Will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am interested in to see, like, I wonder how far we can really push it before it becomes lame, you know? Before we stop making new stuff, or the new stuff that we do make is just like when it just stops impressing people, like when you're just done impressing people. Because I mean, when you think about it, there's hundreds of different combos and morphs. I would say thousands, even if you put them all in different combos and stuff. Thousands of possibilities.
Yeah, it's
Oh
unlimited.
yeah, if you actually
You
if you
could
put
put
them
an
all
exact
together,
number to it.
there's like probably millions of combos if you actually combined like all the possible genes
Yeah,
together. But
yeah.
and so I think it's like a lifetime. Like we can do this literally for a lifetime and never see like even a fraction of what we could make. And that's
Right?
like assuming they don't
Well,
even
that's what
find
I'm
any.
wondering. That's what I'm wondering is where is that finish line? How far do you guys think it is to where it's like
Like
I
very
think
everything's
we're
been
maybe an
done?
eighth away there.
You think
yeah,
we're an eighth of the
I
way?
don't honestly don't even know. Like I'd say yeah, an eighth or something maybe, but like because even like in my opinion, Desert Ghost is like the best aging gene. But even well, Lace is pretty crazy too. But like even those snakes as adults, like they still like there's a lot of room that we could add to it, you know? And so like
Sorry for you, Will.
um, but so I mean, like even like the best looking adult snakes now, I think there's still a lot we could do to make them look. I almost agree. Like lace might be better than DG. Like so I have like adult white lace pastels and then DG pastels, and honestly, the white lace pastels, like as a 2,000 gram female, look way better than the DGs. So lace is pretty crazy. But like I think there's still a lot we can do to make them look even better. So
What's up, John?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, okay, so if we look at this, it depends. If we look at it as a timeline on, are we, in considering learning from the first morph to like getting all of them all figured out and everything, like being able to get combos and all that stuff to the end, right?
yeah,
I think that the time from the first morph to like now is probably about 75% of the time. I think that from now to the finish line is probably only about 25% of the time left. However, the numbers of combos is just ramping up now to where it's, like now we're going to be hitting crazy different numbers and keep on going, and it's going to build a lot faster. But I feel like as far as time goes, we're probably in like the last 25%. Now,
Yeah,
obviously,
because
it's been
there's
a
more
while.
people working it, more people
Yeah,
doing it. So that's going to take time off the total thing than say 100,000. There's now 1 million working it. So yeah, I could see the
well,
time being
yeah,
shorter.
you know what I'm saying there, right?
Yeah.
oh, I totally get what you're saying. And I mean, it's like it's exponential growth because when people were breeding literally like a pastel to a fire to try to make a firefly, like you had to put
That's true.
years in to just make the basic combos. Like because people literally started with all single genes and had to start stacking all those
Yeah,
together. And
yeah,
that took the last 25 years, but now we're at a point where like you can just go on Morph Market and buy a snake that has like 8 genes in it all together in one, and
yeah,
then breed it to another snake that has 5 genes and produce literally like
absolutely.
1,000 possible combos from one
Right.
parent.
There's been 20 years at
Yeah,
least already into building the genes of that snake so that
yeah,
you get this snake and you're like, oh, sweet, I got, an 8 gene snake and I'm going to put it to this 8 gene snake.
right.
Like,
The only
uh,
thing that I like don't think you and I maybe see exactly eye to eye on, Shane, is that I honestly don't think there is a finish line. Like I really don't. Like
but
I
I
really
mean,
think like we could do this literally for certainly the rest of like our 3 lifetimes, but I think like
yeah,
if people sustain like the interest in ball pythons, like this could seriously go on for like hundreds of years where people are still producing like new morphs that no one's ever seen before and like always something different. Now, like I think like the average, like how good looking the average snake is gonna keep getting better like every single year from here on
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But like I honestly think it's like endless because like who knows? There's still like people are still gonna find new genes like in the wild still and also just randomly popping up in their collections. And it's like even if you literally just find one gene, like how Monsoon randomly popped up in Dave Green's collection, it's like a gene can
Well,
literally just pop up one day and then
yeah.
suddenly you gotta breed that into all the other genes if you want to see the possibilities again.
Now, here's
But
where it gets complex, though, is once you get so far into the future, people don't do well with memory. Most people are only remembered for 3 generations. Like, do you know
Sure,
your great
yeah.
grandparents? I didn't know mine.
Right.
So, it's like people are going to start making combos all over again, but they're probably going to be
Yeah,
things that we already had and
that
they
could
just
be.
forgot about it. So that's actually something I was kind of wondering, like towards that whole idea of a finish line. I mean, yeah, I don't really think it's gonna ever be completely done. But I think that at a certain time, it's going to be like, okay, we've kind of figured out like all we got right now. So, you know, like,
well, that town over there that like 90% of the morphs
like
come from in Africa. It was on that Dave Kaufman video again.
Yeah.
Like where 90% of the morphs came from, them people say that aliens come down to give them these morphs. And that's right on a Dave Kaufman video. Like that's what the people in Africa that 90% of these morphs come from say. I mean, I forget the town.
The albino morph for sure came from that village or whatever, and there's more albino people in that village.
Maybe it was 75% of the morphs. It was a higher percentage of the morphs came from that town, and they say aliens do it.
Yeah, but hey,
I believe in aliens, so I mean,
I don't know. That sounds a little crazy to me or whatever, but I mean, it could just be an anomaly happening in that random spot. However, I do have to circle all the way back to the whole Noah's Ark thing of, yeah, I feel like in the future, there's not going to be wild ball pythons.
I think there'll always be some in the wild. We're never going to not catch them all.
I mean, no, we'll have a bunch of them, but there won't be any in the wild.
I think there will be. I disagree with that. My hip's starting to lock up. We gotta end this thing up soon. My hip's starting to lock. I can't sit here much longer.
So what I'm thinking though is, so for example, like say how he was saying in that video, that Dave Kaufman's video, where he's like, hey man, they're just gonna switch to something else. Right now they're selling the ball pythons, but after a while that won't be a thing, so they'll just sell the snake or sell the skin, you know? You're right.
I hope it don't ever come to that.
I was frozen for a second, but
I thought you were. I was like, oh, what the heck?
No, I like my Wi-Fi or something glitched for a second.
It's cool. It happens to one of us almost every time. But yeah, what do you think about that? Like about them not existing possibly in the future? Because for one, we can't do anything about that in America other than just try to keep it alive by buying more snakes. And I don't like just being used as a consumer, as a sheep or whatever.
No doubt. I mean, I think it's like ball pythons are just one of like thousands or, you know, hundreds of thousands of species that are facing like extinction in the wild, you know. And so I definitely wouldn't rule it out. Like it's definitely possible that like in our lifetimes or, you know, in the next 100 years after or something that they could. But I think that really comes down to just like if like people do start taking like conservation of the wild more seriously, and like if they do,
have to, right?
You know, because like ball pythons, like I don't know exactly, but they've probably been around for like 100,000 years or something, you know, like long time as a specific species. And it's like, so there's no reason for ball pythons to disappear unless we are directly causing them to disappear, you know?
But I mean, with the fact of us growing all the time and stuff, it is making it more and more of a real possibility that in maybe 50 years in the future there aren't any left. So
yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi just glitched again.
You're
for
good,
a
bro.
second.
You're good.
But yeah, no, I mean, I really hope that the ball pythons, of course, keep existing in the wild forever, like indefinitely. But it is definitely possible, and like we gotta look after the wild too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely brought some to light for me. I know Ken's trying to get out of here. I really do. I can talk with you all day.
At about an hour and a half mark, my hip just starts going crazy.
Well, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah,
you're welcome back anytime, Marcus.
Anytime you ever want to come on, anytime, just let us know. You know, we'll get you in here. For sure, it was good getting to know you. This is Behind the Scales with Shane and Ken. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to Marcus at Morphologix. He's going to be pushing out a lot of new content, doing a lot of things, and he's got an awesome collection. Look him up. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, guys.